I want to talk about something I just saw on ESPN, and it's called Chief Fatigue. And I believe it was Dan Orlovsky was talking about how he doesn't get it, how it's you're witnessing greatness and how it's never going to happen again. And they keep telling us that, and we keep having dynasties pop up. For 30 years, the experts have been telling us that there's never going to be another dynasty after the one we're watching, and yet another one pops up. Why do we have chief fatigue? We don't have chief fatigue because we hate them. Some guys do. Raiders fans, Broncos fans. I'm a Bills fan. I should absolutely hate them. But I can remember just a few years ago, they were the darlings. They were the team we wanted to see overtake Tom Brady and the Patriots and beat them. But now they've become the evil empire. They're the team that's always there. And fatigue isn't based on the fact that we hate the franchise and their fans are obnoxious. And yes, there are certain aspects of the Chiefs that we don't like. A lot of us pure football fans don't like the constant camera shots being taken and cutaways of Taylor Swift up in the audience. Some of us don't like the braggadocio nature of like Travis Kelce when Mahomes scored against the Bills and Kelce got right into DeMar Hamlin's face and you could tell he was running his mouth as his head was flapping up and down like a bobblehead. Those are the things we don't like. But in general, the Chiefs aren't a hateable team. There's a lot of young, likable players. I mean, some got political last year and hate on Harrison Butker. Whatever. We are tired if it's not your team. You get tired of the same other team winning all the time. You don't if it can't be your team, you don't mind if it's the Chiefs one year and the Rams one year and the Buccaneers one year. It's when it's the Chiefs and the Chiefs and the Chiefs. That's where you get fatigue. And the other option, the Eagles, it's not like they're a brand new team to this situation. They were just here 2 years ago, and they just won the Super Bowl 8 years ago. It was 7 years ago, 7 seasons ago. And in fact, a lot of their fans, and I have a lot of good people who I know who are Eagles fans, but they get on social media and they become the obnoxious one. And you almost don't want the Eagles to win because sometimes you think the fans are too obnoxious, and that's neither here nor there. But that's why we have chief fatigue. And the other thing is the talk of three-peat and the way the NFL produces that talk and the media generates it and makes you think like it's never happened before because it hasn't happened in Super Bowl history. But it has happened before. It's happened officially twice in the NFL, once overlapped the Super Bowl by 2 years. The Green Bay Packers won the 1965 NFL championship. There was no Super Bowl. They couldn't play the Buffalo Bills, who had won the AFL title that year, to determine if there was a champion of both leagues. There was none. Then they won Super Bowls 1 and 2, but so in total they had won 3 NFL championships in a row. They also did it, the same Green Bay organization, 1929, 1930, 1931. Now that's in an era where there were no playoff game, there was no championship game, so they were the best team of the year in the league by virtue of winning percentage. So they did it twice. There's also 2 that happened in professional football that the NFL doesn't recognize because of semantics. One of them happened to be a 5-peat. 5. From 1946 to 1950, the Cleveland Browns won the league championship they were in 5 straight years. Yes, the Cleveland Browns, believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns. 1946, 47, 48, and 49 was in the double AFC, the All-American Football Conference. That conference then merged with the NFL, but it wasn't like the merger you hear about with the AFL and NFL. The NFL basically absorbed the double AFC, took in the Browns, the San Francisco 49ers, and the original Baltimore Colts, not to be confused with the Indianapolis Colts of today, by the way, different franchise. And then they took players from like the original Buffalo Bills, again, not to be confused with the modern Buffalo Bills, the New York Yankees of that conference, the Chicago Rockets, the Los Angeles Dons. They took those players and dispersed them amongst the NFL. So there was a merger, but unlike the AFL NFL merger, the NFL doesn't recognize the records and championships of that original league. But the Browns would go on to win the NFL championship their first year in the league, 1950, and then would go back to the championship game in 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55, winning it in 54 and 55. Anyway, yeah, they lost it in 51 to the Rams, 52 and 53 to the Lions. Then I believe they beat the Lions in 54. Anyway, so they had won 5 in a row. The NFL doesn't recognize it. There was also one in the 1920s that the NFL doesn't recognize again because of semantics. The 1922 and 23 Canton Bulldogs won the NFL championship. And then there was an ownership change. A new group came in, purchased all the assets of the Canton Bulldogs, took the players, most of them, because some of them didn't want to go, moved them to Cleveland, kept the name Browns, or I'm sorry, Bulldogs. The Cleveland Bulldogs would win the 1924 NFL championship, but the NFL looks at that as two separate franchises, and that kind of thing happened a lot in the 20s and 30s, where the NFL, there was an ownership change, and the NFL looks back and says, two different franchises. Whatever. It was the same players, it was the same nickname. They won the championship 3 years in a row. So it's happened 4 times, twice officially. Now for tonight's game. So that talks about Chief Fatigue. That talks about the three-peat. And now we get into tonight and what I think. Now, my all-time Super Bowl record, I've been watching the Super Bowl since 1988, the Bengals and 49ers. And I was right that night, so I thought I'm going to be right all the time at this. But I'm a Bills fan who roots for the Falcons, so there's at least 6 times I've been wrong there. Through 36 Super Bowls that I've watched, I'm 15 and 21. 15 and 21. So you might want to take this little prediction of mine and bet against it. That might be the smart money. Again, I'm a Bills fan. I have Chief fatigue. I also am not necessarily sure all of my Eagles friends, and no offense, but I'm not necessarily sure you deserve another championship. But then again, you could say that for a lot of fan bases. There are even Buffalo Bills fans who are obnoxious and whatever. I think that the three-peat is going to come very, very close, but there's going to be something screwy late because of all the talk of the officials, and I'll have another video on the officials at another time. But all the talk on the officials, there's going to be one of the side judges or back judge or something that's going to make a bad call to influence the Eagles because he doesn't want to be looked at as another one of these conspiracy theories that sees helping the Chiefs. The Eagles are going to get the ball late and are going to be able to go down and kick a field goal to win 24-21. Here's a few stats I want you to look at and think about. Saquon Barkley is going to be the MVP. Saquon Barkley is the one player I think the Chiefs cannot stop. He is having an amazing season, and what better way to finish off this, what could have been an NFL MVP season had it not been for some just incredible seasons out of quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Saquon was in the finalists. He won Offensive Player of the Year. He could have been the NFL MVP if quarterbacks didn't dominate that. Saquon's going to break the Super Bowl rushing record. Set in 1988, January 31st, Timmy Smith, a rookie, got his first start for the Washington Redskins, ran for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saquon's going to run for 206 yards, break the record by 2. He's going to score 3 touchdowns, every one for the Eagles, and he'll be the NFL or the Super Bowl MVP. So, Chief fatigue is real. The referees we're going to talk about later. The three-peat is not a first. It's a first in Super Bowl history, but it'll be the 4th time ever happening in pro football. And the NFL did merge with the AAFC, so I'm not counting USFL or Arena Football or Canadian Football. I'm counting the 3 leagues that make up the current NFL: the original NFL, the AAFC, and the AFL. It's happened 3 times, and the Eagles are going to win tonight. So let me know in the comments just how stupid you think I am, because that's apparently what everybody on social media and internet likes to do is, oh, I gotta get on a comment. How you're an idiot. You make people dumber just by talking. Guess what? I don't care. Tell me how dumb I am. I don't care. I'm not gonna respond. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect me. I'm still gonna sleep tonight. Have a good day. Uh, enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy your party. And in 2025, go Bills.